Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining me today by watching this video and hearing what I have to say. Now, all of us who pay tax, who honestly work, who just try to live our lives, raise our families, and just try to contribute in any way that we can by being positive and, yes, following our good laws and protecting those laws, protecting our system, and having pride in protecting that system and being part of that system. Unfortunately, in North America, especially in places like Canada, we can no longer be proud of the system we are part of. We are part of something that is very corrupt, that is abusing us, it's robbing us, and now in today's times with things like social services, we can't even have normality with our families in the midst of all this abuse and corruption that we are dealing with. And things like social services have become basically another tool of tyranny, where they are just controlling what we say, how we live, just another excuse to impose laws, impose new taxes, basically just put their noose tighter around our society, taking away our freedoms and making us feel like we shouldn't have a voice, like everything that we say is extreme or hateful or out of place, erratic, unstable, to the point where they can even question our mental health and our merit or even our existence, to where they're asking questions: should we have these kind of people in our society? Should we prevent them before they exist? While they introduce more of these bad policies, more of these bad politics, more of these things that we're dealing with that are, quite frankly, just destroying our lives, enslaving us, giving few a lot of power, a lot of control over our lives, while the majority of us are to suffer, while the majority of us are just to pay everything, while we receive basically nothing but fraud, a bad agricultural system, and bad education system, bad entertainment system, everything. It's just deteriorating us. It's just cutting our life expectancy in half. And you guys clearly can tell that I don't want to live like this. But all of us don't want to live like this anymore. And we're looking for a voice. We're looking for something to do against this, and we can. And that is by getting together. And today, with all the censorship that we are dealing with these laws that are even being imposed against our voice, and they're not even laws, they're more acts, things that are put in a criminal code rather than the law. Why? Because these acts and these upgrades to the criminal code are not legal upgrades. They're not constitutional. In fact, they violate our human rights, something that supposedly we uphold here in the West. Human rights for everybody. And the countries that are leading in upholding that are the ones violating that, making systems that are intentionally violating that and get around our human rights. The Canadian Charter of Rights for Canadians, and as well as the constitutional rights that Americans have. They're being overridden every single day, while the politicians, while the people that are imposing these laws can use these same laws and these same protections and apply it to them. Why? Because they hire lawyers that speak in a complicated language that is able to just basically confirm what has always been there for everybody else. But everybody else, no matter what lawyer they get, these laws are played with. These freedoms are played with. These freedoms are not to exist for them. You can see it in the prison systems. You can see it in our medical systems. You can see it in the systems that supposedly protect mental health, that supposedly educate our kids. These Hollywood systems and these systems of entertainment, of media, and getting information across with yes, the news, and how we're supposed to educate ourselves and, well, yes, entertain ourselves. That's why Hollywood is there. But at the same time, we watch these movies and these programs to also learn about what's happening with society, how to live in society, how to communicate, how to follow the latest trends. But when all it becomes is just communicating in a language that we don't even relate to and just following the latest trends, where's our normality? Where's our future going? Right now, I'm just cooking some soup and standing in front of my door where I go out to the garage And I'm just a simple person. I just decided to sit here and make an update video. And the reason why I haven't been able to make videos is because I'm censored. Like, how is it that so many people are looking to hear answers? So many people are looking to get their community together so that they can not only get answers but find solutions. And we're censored. Our views are even taken away from our videos. Like, our videos are tampered with. Before they would call it conspiracy theory, that people were paranoid that they thought something like that was happening. Now they confirm it. They're shadow blocking us, shadow banning us, or whatever you call it. And people who speak about these things are supposed to also adopt that language. Censorship, shadow ban, the Illuminati. Like, I'm trying to really get to the substance of what's happening with our laws, what's happening with our future, how it's directly affecting us, and how it's taken away our voice, how it's taken away our ability to function and work together as people. That's what I'm focused on the most. So it's really hard when you're dealing with all this censorship, when you're dealing with all this tampering, and then you're dealing with people who do get publicity, that are given publicity on purpose, they're just misleading you from what's really happening. Where you have to go into mentalities where, wake up, America, be a patriot, be on the right side, not the left side. The whole battle between the left versus the right and whatnot. This is how you have to be a patriot. This is how we wake up America. Let's just use common sense. Let's look at what's really happening. Let's look at how our system is really not a proper system. And yes, it's currently the best system we got. Why? Because this system is going around destroying everything else that wants to better, that wants to do better, that wants to do it better with common sense, wants to educate people the proper way, want to invest and invent in new ways of having better energy, cleaner energy. So we won't have these people like Greta Thunberg shaming us, saying, shame on you, this, how dare you? You guys are the ones to blame for all this global warming, stand behind the science. Well, they're saying that people are born gay and to go transgender. Well, so much abuse is happening onto our youth right now. Drag kids go into the library and there's drag queen story time for children. And then we cannot say anything against that because we're violating other people's human rights. But yet we don't have human rights. The majority of people don't have the right to have an opinion anymore. Why? Because this system is telling us how we are to live. This entertainment is not just becoming entertainment anymore. It's becoming an obligation. Making new industries with our sexuality, and our kids are on the front line. And we can't speak about that because we're censored. Our videos won't get viewed. People can't share these things for some reason, but we can share everything else. That's what we got to begin to look at as people, as what's really happening, and really get together and really throw this stuff out. We got no choice anymore. Really look at what's happening with your laws right now, especially if you're in Canada. Look at things like social services and how it's affecting families and how they're going to use that as one of their number one tools to make sure that the new generation adopts all these new policies. Keeping people down low, not allowing them to advance. Violating our human rights in every possible way they can, while saying that we got human rights. Like, what is human rights? Why don't we just look at what's really right and what's really wrong? Use common sense. And you'll see things for what they really are. Yes, you who feel something has been done wrong to you, especially if you're dealing with things like social services, start getting together, start speaking with mothers and fathers and families who are being affected by this. Make class action lawsuits, get your voice heard, start talking about your human rights. And they're going to try to prevent you from doing that. They're going to be like, why are these people talking about human rights? We got to squelch every case. Why? Because we don't need people talking about their human rights and how we're violating them. We still need that so that we can protect our system. No. We got to begin to actually stand up for these human rights we supposedly have. These Canadian Charter rights that we supposedly have. And stand up for our rights. Without just having to depend on a court system to when they decide to respect our rights. We got to claim our rights. We got to fight for our rights again. And we got to do it positively. Yes, abiding by the law. But now they want to say that if you speak like this, now you're an extremist, that now you're causing trouble. I've seen people who speak like this and swear and talk about civil wars and toppling governments. I'm talking about just using common sense and looking at things for what they are. And I think that's the most dangerous stuff that they're looking for. Is people who are not violent. People who are actually, truly getting people to wake up and look at things for what they are. That's what they find the biggest threat. Yeah, sure, they can see someone swearing and saying that they're full of hatred against the government. They'll say that that's the extremist, but they're using that person to squelch everybody else's voice before we even use our voice. That's why they use people that are violent and erratic like that to say that even people who are passive like me and you should not have a voice. That's what they're getting to. We cannot enter a future like that, especially if we consider ourselves English-speaking people who supposedly are upholding a good, positive system. We can't call ourselves that. We can't say that we're upholding something like that if we keep allowing this system to do this to us, our children, and people around the world, using immigration as a tool to remodel our countries. The drug cartels and all this, and now we got to go after what people in Latin America, Hispanic America, and in the Portuguese world looking for cartels that our systems are funding, our systems are arming, just like they did to the terrorism in the Middle East, so that they can bring all these people here and then say, oh, you're being racist against these people. Who's the real racist? Who's the one really destroying cultures, remodeling the Middle East while they're now remodeling Europe and the West, and then calling us racist or fascist or whatever for bringing light to that? Heck, they're even calling people of brown skin color, black skin color, putting light on these things and talking about these things racist. Until you actually see the face of the person, oh, we're just going to censor them. Well, they talk about fact checks and all this stuff. Yeah. You know, stand up for yourself. It doesn't matter what idiots out there saying, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist, or you're paranoid, or this, or stop resisting, and this and that, just because they have an okay life. I got a good life too, in many senses. But I choose to speak. Because I know what's coming for the future, and I don't want my kids having this kind of future. I don't care. If I have $1 million, I don't need my kid coming home and saying, I was born gay, when I know that's not my child's future. And I'm like, well, no, child, I want to tell you different. And he says, well, you know, they're saying that you're not allowed to say that to me, Dad. Social services can come and stop this. Excuse me. Where did you get that idea from? That's what our systems are doing. We're not choosing that. That's not democracy. That's not a democratic system. That's basically a parliament, a Congress, a corrupt system of, instead of just a king and a queen, like 1,000 little kings and queens doing a little thing called modern democracy. They're the ones who vote. Yeah, that's where you get your occult. That's where you get your secret societies and whatnot, and your little green men. No. It's just a bunch of frauds and thieves. Manipulating our spirituality, manipulating our beliefs, manipulating our lives, everything. We can't live like that anymore. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm going to say God bless you. For saying God bless you, I'm most likely going to be censored. I'm just going to have my video censored. Why? Because they're using this AI system, this wonderful AI system, to pick up on keywords. You say this, you say that, they just pick them up on little algorithms, on their little AI systems. And you can't even share anymore. Somehow your video is irrelevant. Yeah, don't fall for it. Stand up for yourself. And if you can't share here on YouTube or Facebook, begin to bring back community meetings. Start knocking door to door. Start telling people about what's really happening. If you've been abused and hurt by this system, sue. Go against it. If it's made you broke, go get legal aid. Sue it. No more. And they're going to try putting laws against people doing that. Why? Why? Instead of changing the system, why would they impose laws against people doing that? Clearly because we're dealing with corruption. Anyways, guys, till next time, God bless you.